Hi, everyone. Welcome. This video is going to be a brief preview of what you're going to get on Saturday, the 9th of December. This is a last-minute heads up to join us for a premiere event here, Unum Being, which my website is unumbeing.com, and Unum Being is hosting a new series of seminars called Human Up Seminars. It's the art of going from what we call ego sapien to logo sapien. And our first event, we felt urgent. My father and I in conversation, we felt, you know what, with all that's going on in the world, it really is time to bring this, this awareness that we love to bring. And even though it's short notice, that's the nature of the zeitgeist, the spirit of the times right now, is we got to show up, we got to meet the moment, because things do indeed seem to be accelerating very quickly. So we've entitled this one, Facing Our Contemporary Civil War. And I'd like to hand it over to you, Dad. This is my father, Ashok Gangadine. And of course, my name is Nathan Gangadine. I'm his son. And I'm going to hand it over to you, Dad, to describe, or not describe, but really convey the magnitude of what we're seeking to do here.
Thanks, Nathan. It's a pleasure working with you. And again, you rightly say that you and I have had hundreds of, literally hundreds, maybe even to the 1,000 level of conversations in our laboratory, doing this research together at the frontier, of trying to have a depth understanding of our human condition and the depth of wisdom and our scriptures and enlightenment through the ages. And I think the word facing a contemporary civil war can throw people off, because what is a civil war? We know what the Civil War was back in the 1850s in the American scene, but we also know that now, right in our presence, there is a fragmentation of our culture. There's a polarization, fragmentation, a plurality that we don't seem to be able to get together and connect with each other across borders. And we've heard culture wars and ideological clashes and clash of civilizations. We're not just talking about the American scene, but just across the planet, the human condition. And so the contemporary civil war is the breakdown of our political space where we meet in our cultures, and especially in our global age, where we clearly are right now across the planet. There's a clash of our perspectives, and polarization is chronic. And the word unum being that you use for this site, unum is the word taken from the Latin for deep unity. And we talk about the source, getting to the source. What is the source? So when we stand, my journey as a philosopher over the last 50, 60 years, and as a professor of philosophy at Haverford College, has focused on listening deeply to our great wisdom traditions, our philosophers, looking at our religious traditions, and asking, how do we cross worlds? Can we get it together? Can we have dialogue? Or are we stuck in broken monologue? And is there some common ground across our great religious scripture traditions? From Abraham to Moses, to Jesus, to Muhammad, to Socrates, to Buddha, Krishna, Lao Tzu, you name these great geniuses that we revere. They all saw that when you turn on the lights of wisdom and human reason, it points to a fundamental field, a fundamental source, whether you call it Yahweh, Allah, Tao, Brahman, Om, Shunyata, Buddha nature, whatever name we use, it's infinite. And that's a big shift, because if there's an infinite reality, if reality is infinite and cannot be delimited or contained, then it's transfinite. And if it's transfinite or infinite, then it cannot be more than one. And that now begins to open up the depth of reality as a unified unum space. The source of reality. Reality itself is infinitely one. And an infinite one, all of these diverse first philosophers, philosophies and wisdoms and names for what is first, all of our God names, all of our enlightenment names, connect deeply in that unum. So the unum is the unum pluribus, and that word, which was celebrated in the founding of the American civic space in 1776, e pluribus unum, out of the many one, that's unum. So that's what we're exploring, that could it be that we've not been able to see that there is a matrix, a mind operating process that's deeply implanted in our human evolution and development. So we're in a kind of adolescent stage of rational development, and we haven't kept the unum. We haven't gotten to the source.
Mm-hmm.
And we're hitting deep barriers, and it creates fragmentation, polarization, disintegration, and that is showing up medically everywhere we look, on the American scene, in the international scene, in the Middle East. You look anywhere, you see not just in the grand picture, but in our personal inner space, our personal lives, ourself. We're not in the Om space, we're not in the Christ space, we're not in the Buddha space. So even though we think we are, something is blocking us, and we remain broken and fragmented in personal life, interpersonal life, cultural life, intercultural life, interreligious life. Everywhere it's a clash. So what you and I have been exploring now, hundreds of conversations in these laboratories of doing live unum being, because being is unum, reality is being, is unum, it's the infinite source, and we've been blocked from seeing the depth of the source. That's funding all of our diverse worlds. So that's just a quick flash for anyone interested in going on this journey into source life, crossing the barrier from being cut off in monologue to go to deep dialogue. So we want to hold a living, jazzing, improv, deep dialogue together. Mm-hmm. And that is facing our contemporary civil war and realizing, so what is the greatest activism? Well, we feel in our activism, what's clear in unum science, the global light of reason, in unum source science, is that our activism is not being as active as it should be. We're not tapping the source medicine of our great teachers. So we've got to human up. So our journey as a human is to leave from the ego sapien level of our development and our rationality and our culture making to a higher deep dialogue, I-thou space of compassion and love and flourishing. And that's a journey you and I have been on together. And we'd love to invite others to join us, to human up together and find our greatest activism is to come into the zone, to get into the zone of source. I hope that helps.
Beautiful. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for that. And so just so you guys know what it is, it's this. You'll get to tune in. You'll see it just like this. Me and Dad here just going for it like we do. It's fast paced. It requires you to kind of lean in a little bit. This is not about spoon feeding information or anything like that. This is about participating at a level of conscious research and development live that we do. And we've been, like we keep saying, we've been doing this for so long, and we feel it's what a crime that others aren't being able to tune into this and feel this and enjoy this with us and participate with us. So the idea here is that if you'd like to officially register, you can come to my website, unumbeing.com. UNUM, being.com. And it'll be obvious right there on the homepage. I'll make it easy for you guys to navigate to the registration for this event. And you can register officially. We're asking a suggested donation of $15, but whatever you can contribute will be wonderfully appreciated. And with that registration, you get a link to the actual Zoom meeting where you can, after a very easy download of Zoom software and stuff, which is free, you can just tune right in with us and be able to even chat or raise your hand, so to speak, when we open up for questions. So that's the idea. Otherwise, there will be a YouTube live with my associated YouTube channel, which will also give you that information too. So that's the idea. Please come and join us. This is not about being sensational. This is not about sensationalizing crisis. It's about recognizing that we are all feeling the deep, the seismic shifting in the human culture, and there's the anxiety that comes with that, and when you watch the news, you see all of these fragmented different stories of what's going on, and we can see that there's a lot wrong, whether it's with the climate or with politics or between nations or whatever it might be. But this is about connecting it and seeing it, and that's really the essence of humaning up, and that is the most powerful activism. So we ask you to be a part of that and join us.
Now, may I just say one more on that last note, that
sure.
The various crises, the collision and fragmentation of our culture and our life and our spaces, by being de-sourced, when we're not tapping the deep source, with all the sexism, racism, homophobia, the breakdown of our relationships in our home life, our marriage, our objectification of one another, the sexual harassment, which comes from objectification. That's just the tip of the iceberg, because the dominant matrix that humans are living in, according to our great teachers and scriptures, is that we're still objectifying in information space. And we're not tapping the Christ, tapping the Buddha, tapping the yoga of yoga, getting into logic, the rationality of the logos, the light of logos. So You and I are jazzing, and we want people to have fun with us,
Mm-hmm.
be lighthearted in the most profound research imaginable,
Mm-hmm.
which our future flourishing turns upon. But to join us in our dialogue and our jazzing together in an informal, live research session in the laboratory together with us. So we want it to be fun. And as you said, eventually people who are coming in with the Zoom can raise their hand or indicate, I'd like to ask a question. We'd love to have some dialogue and open it up a little bit. So thank you for making that clear.
Cool. Awesome. All right. We'll see you guys Saturday.
Looking forward. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.